On that one.
Well, Brian Acosta was doing that during the World Series.
During the World Series, yeah.
Yeah, like on the field, because they would walk and talk, and he had somebody push it, just
Oh, I saw that.
a break there.
No, this is like Phoenix Open. You have to go from
Yeah.
bowl before you go to the golf cart.
Yeah.
So get in the back of that golf cart. On my wagon.
Nice.
Great. Escalators too. You can do escalators.
This is to ensure the bar can hear us. Come on, bar. Is it working? Are you working? Are you employed? You got it?
They're like an old married couple.
Just speaking to the head. And you want to say? Well,
Go.
Sandra, Jason, Carlos,
oh good, everybody has something to say. Wouldn't be a press conference if 5 people didn't say.
Lily.
I already did.
Sorry. All right. Hi, good morning, everyone, and thank you all for being here for another exciting announcement. Actually, 3 announcements during National Apprenticeship Week. Arizona is a global hub for advanced manufacturing and a vital part of America's manufacturing resurgence. Our economy, which is rooted in sustainability and innovation, has become a beacon for cutting-edge companies and next-generation technologies. Our booming semiconductor ecosystem is proof of that. In the last 2 years, we've announced more than 30 semiconductor expansions, representing over $60 billion invested. With a diverse and dynamic economy, strong workforce, and unprecedented federal investment, we are paving the way for the future of semiconductor manufacturing in this country. This onshoring of semiconductor manufacturing is bringing good-paying jobs back to America and is a testament to the administration's commitment to fostering economic growth and securing a bright future for everyone. We now have nearly 200 semiconductor establishments in the state and a pipeline ripe with additional opportunity. Each and every one of these projects wouldn't be possible without collaboration and support between federal, state, and local governments. Arizona is home to a diverse and highly talented workforce that is bolstered by world-class universities and community colleges, a fast-growing population, and pioneering workforce development programs. Today's announcements will help us leverage those assets to ensure middle-class Arizonans get the good-paying jobs created by our semiconductor manufacturing boom. That's why today, I'm announcing the state's first ever registered apprenticeship in Arizona supporting the semiconductor industry. We're proud to have NXP Semiconductors, the employer and sponsor of this program, here with us today to say a few words about this innovative approach. This new effort will be supported by partners on all fronts and will involve collaboration between state agencies, industry leaders, education partners, and community organizations. As part of this holistic approach, the Arizona Commerce Authority will invest $4 million to support the growth of registered apprenticeship programs supporting the semiconductor industry. These funds will be used to cover costs like tuition, books, materials, and supplies for the participating apprentices, as well as wraparound support services such as transportation and childcare. In addition to this direct apprentice support, the Arizona Department of Economic Security will be hiring 8 additional full-time employees at the Department of Economic Security's Arizona Apprenticeship Office, who will help expand processing and administrative capacity for registered apprenticeship programs. To complement this expanded capacity, the Arizona Commerce Authority will create an employer collaborative. This collaborative will work directly with companies and industry experts to build and launch new apprenticeship programs that support Arizona's semiconductor industry workforce, with one front door for industry partners looking to leverage the apprenticeship model. We are also thinking holistically about the economy and workforce. For the semiconductor industry, my administration's approach will be no different. Childcare plays a big role in being able to attract and retain employees. The CHIPS Act recognized the importance of childcare by including a provision for childcare in their grant programs. And that's why I'm working with the Arizona Commerce Authority and the Department of Economic Security to conduct a childcare needs study, assessing gaps across the state in all industries, as well as challenges specific to the semiconductor industry and the unique needs it presents. This whole of government approach across agencies gives Arizona an edge in retaining and attracting talent and career opportunities. Having children should never come at the expense of having a good paying job, and I've heard from too many parents who are trying to support their families that a lack of affordable childcare has been one of the biggest barriers. Working closely with First Things First, the state's leading agency in ensuring quality early learning opportunities statewide, these state agencies will develop a tailored plan to address childcare needs for Arizona's future and current workforces. And finally, earlier this year, we announced two of the Future 48 Workforce Accelerator programs, with 2 initial investments in Yuma and Keenan. Today, I'm excited to share that the next Future 48 Workforce Accelerator will be in partnership with Maricopa Community Colleges, focused on meeting the needs of our rapidly growing semiconductor industry and building the pool of advanced manufacturing talent. That means middle-class Arizonans can take advantage of the good-paying jobs that we're growing throughout the state each and every day. Training at the state-of-the-art facility will take place in close collaboration with industry partners, establishing first-of-their-kind training pathways to help more Arizonans enter this high-paying industry. We're grateful to Chancellor Stephen Gonzalez for his leadership and collaboration, and look forward to sharing more details as they become finalized. Of course, none of this is possible without the people standing beside me today. Arizona is fortunate to have so many leaders who are laser focused on coming together to put Arizonans in the best position for prosperity and success. CEO Rogers, with your over 25 years of service to Arizona families, has already done so much for the direction of the Department of Economic Security. I'm looking forward to our continued partnership, and I'm confident that with your help, Arizonans will see the benefits of these efforts. CEO Watson, our work to promote the semiconductor industry and your semiconductor task force has already made Arizona the top destination for international investment. I'm so grateful to you and your team's efforts to execute our shared vision of a thriving and diverse Arizona economy, and this exciting mission really brings it all together and will take us to new heights. And CEO Contreras, we are grateful for your leadership at the Office of Economic Opportunity and your work to fully leverage opportunities for workers and families across the state. Days like today are possible because of your expertise. I also want to thank Jason Conrad from NXP Semiconductors and Melinda Gulick from First Things First for joining us in this bold, first-of-its-kind joint effort to move Arizona forward in a well-rounded and meaningful way. And with that, I'll hand it over to CEO Rogers to talk more about the Department of Economic Security's role.
Good morning. An Arizona for everyone, and today that one is the Arizona worker, just getting started in their career or restarting a new trade. The Registered Apprenticeship Program at the Department of Economic Security is ready to help. Working in partnership with employers and training providers, it provides an excellent tool to a career. Let me tell you a little bit about the Arizona Registered Apprenticeship Program. It has been in Arizona for nearly 82 years. I'm certainly not going to cover all 82 years of its history, but in the last 5 years, we've made significant strides. An 82% growth to 6,417 apprenticeships. Today's average starting salary for individuals who complete an apprenticeship is $77,000, and 93% of apprentices who complete a registered apprenticeship retain employment. We've grown from 7 supported industries to now today 15. We're thrilled with the announcement to add the semiconductor industry to this list. The benefits of registered apprenticeship programs are too long to list, but a few worth mentioning include employment that guarantees wage progression and provides a sustainable livelihood, structured on-the-job learning at the actual work site through mentorship with related technical education to supplement training and development, acquisition of relevant experiences, skills, and knowledge that opens doors to further career advancement, and the completion of an apprenticeship program that results in a portable, nationally recognized credential. And the benefits to employers: reduced turnover, more diverse workforce, employees trained to company standards, building partnerships with certification and licensing agencies, and the recruitment and retention of a qualified workforce. So now that you're all interested in starting a registered apprenticeship program, I encourage you to reach out to DES on our website at azapprenticeship.com or email us at azapprenticeship@azdes.gov. A huge thank you to those employers today who've already started that journey with us. Thank you to the National Institute of Innovation and Technology, and especially to my team member, Joanne Bueno at DES, for all of her work. We're here to help make the magic happen by connecting an eager workforce with employment and training opportunities to be successful. I'll turn it over to Sandra Watson now.
Thank you, Angie, and thank you, Governor. So I'm Sandra Watson, President and CEO of the Arizona Commerce Authority. It's an exciting day for Arizona's semiconductor industry. With over $60 billion in investment, Arizona already leads the nation in semiconductor investment. Today's announcement further demonstrates Arizona's leading attractiveness for the world's most advanced industry leaders. All over the country, and indeed the world, industry and government are talking about the need to train additional advanced manufacturing talent. In Arizona, we're doing more than talking. We're taking action. The state's first registered apprenticeship program focused on the semiconductor industry represents a milestone for this industry and workers alike. It means that Arizonans will have an unprecedented opportunity to receive hands-on training for this high-wage field. NXP's apprenticeship program can also serve as a taking-off point for additional apprenticeships to take root in our state. I'd like to recognize Governor Hobbs for her leadership in bringing together the ACA, the Department of Economic Security, the Office of Economic Opportunity, and all of our partners who have come together to help build this program with NXP. The ACA has been convening industry leaders under the Arizona Semiconductor Task Force since August of 2022. I'd like to thank the Workforce Subgroup for the time that they've dedicated in helping us understand their needs and advance solutions to meet the rising demand of the semiconductor talent. We're very proud to have many representatives of this group with us here today. Their contributions have strongly influenced our workforce strategy. This strategy includes a $4 million investment from the ACA to support the apprentice as they advance their training. The investment will take place alongside a new employer collaborative established by the ACA to support expansion of hands-on training within the semiconductor industry. Equally exciting, today represents the launch of Maricopa Future 48 Workforce Accelerator focused on the semiconductor industry. We created the Future 48 network of accelerators in Arizona, and it is seen as a national best practice in hands-on training. In collaboration with our community colleges across the state, these facilities combine industry-led curriculum with state-of-the-art facilities and resources to scale talent quickly. The latest accelerator, which is being launched in collaboration with Maricopa Community Colleges, will provide a turbo boost to Arizona's semiconductor talent pipeline, helping to further attract crucial investment in this sector. I'm immensely grateful again to Governor Hobbs for her support and dedication in advancing these innovative programs for the semiconductor industry. I'd also like to thank Chancellor Stephen Gonzalez and his team at Maricopa Community Colleges for their partnership in providing Arizonans with a high-quality education and training opportunities. With that, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. Jason Conrad is the Senior Director of Operations at NXP's Echo Fab in Chandler. NXP is a global industry leader, and we're so excited to have them growing and investing right here in Arizona. Please join me in welcoming Jason Conrad.
Thank you, Sandra. Hi, as Sandra mentioned, I'm Jason Conrad, Senior Director of Operations at NXP's Echo Fab in Chandler. It's an honor to be here. NXP has a strong, decades-long history in Arizona, where we have been designing and manufacturing semiconductors vital to automotive, medical device, and 5G communication infrastructure markets since the early 1980s. We operate two wafer fabrication facilities here in Chandler, Arizona, representing over 1,200 employees. Over the years, our two Arizona fabs have helped us strengthen our manufacturing and technology leadership, resulting in our ability to ship innovative products to customers around the world. Building on this, a critical milestone for the future of 5G and beyond is our newest Arizona fab, which debuted in 2020, Echo. Our 150 millimeter RF gallium nitride fab in Chandler is one of the few GaN fabs in the world and the most advanced fab dedicated to 5G RF power amplifiers in the United States. As a global semiconductor company with operations and team members across more than 30 countries, we at NXP are deeply invested in fostering workforce development and training. Our talented team of employees represents our most valuable asset. As the factory manager of our Echo GaN fab, I see this every day. The men and women who apply their skills at Echo are part of one of the world's most dynamic and important industries. Their work truly makes a difference, and we couldn't be prouder of our team. To continue to support our growing workforce and continue preparing for future growth, we need to constantly find new ways to train and prepare individuals for our industry. That's why today is so important. This new registered apprenticeship program will allow us to provide on-the-job training to current and future employees, pairing experienced technicians with our newest recruits. Innovation is core to who we are at NXP. We are confident workforce training programs like the registered apprenticeship program will help foster a new generation of local technical and engineering talent to continue that spirit of innovation. For many Arizonans, this program represents an opportunity to learn new skills and apply their talents to be part of something bigger. This program is the product of months of close collaboration with Governor Hobbs' administration, and we'd like to thank Governor Hobbs, the Department of Economic Security, Arizona Commerce Authority, Office of Economic Opportunity, and more for their partnership. It's no stretch to say semiconductors embody one of the world's most important industries. This new collaboration will pave the way for more Arizonans to join our all-important industry and advance their career. We look forward to building on the success of this program for many years to come. Thank you. Here's Carlos.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Carlos Contreras, I'm the Office of Economic Opportunity. Thank you, Governor, your commitment to the building an economy that works for all and to deliver more pathways to good paying jobs for Arizonans it's what's driving our work every day. Just this past Monday, to kick off Apprenticeship Week, the Governor announced a $1.75 million initiative in construction and trade registered apprenticeships. She stood on stage with two carpenter apprentices, two Arizonans whose pride was evident in their faces, pride in the skills and the careers that they're building to build economic prosperity for themselves and their families. Our announcement this week in our work every day to build apprenticeship opportunities are about Arizonans, like the two we met, both women by the way. And today we continue to build growth in apprenticeships, ensuring accessibility for Arizonans particularly those who have struggled to find training and career paths that lead to prosperity for themselves and their families. We will meet more and more Arizonans who are better off because of this work. And I know from a personal experience, the semiconductor industry can provide careers that are cutting edge, constantly challenging, and very rewarding. We can see for ourselves how the semiconductor industry has advanced entire communities, and the House Administration is building pathways so that everyone has access to being part of that advancement. The Semiconductor Technician Workforce Program we're introducing today is built upon the effective model of registered apprenticeships. This approach allows participants to acquire new skills, kickstart a career, earn a salary, and support themselves and their families. Our Office of Equal Opportunity and the Arizona Workforce Council are working to support the expansion of this model. On a personal note, spending time with my father, who was an electrical engineer at the Morola Assembly Test Facility in Nogales, Mexico, back in the 70s, when the first Star Wars movie came out, I experienced my own form of apprenticeship. That semiconductor division of Morola then became NXP. Learning about the industry from my father and seeing where he worked will eventually lead me to a 26-year career. So much of what I learned from him was crystallized when I worked at the Intel Assembly Test Facility. Many here, I'm sure, have similar story of personal connection that led you to consider an industry or an occupation. But not everyone's personal connections expose them to opportunities like the ones we are discussing today. And this is one of the gifts of apprenticeship programs. An apprenticeship program forms a personal connection through that learning process. The best learning often occurs when someone you trust is your teacher and mentor. A recent report by the National Governors Association and the Business Roundtable revealed that employers utilizing registered apprenticeship experience decreased turnover, improved productivity, and the formation of a more diverse and intergenerational teams. A noteworthy 2022 study by the ABT Associates emphasized that for every dollar invested in an apprentice, employers will ultimately gain $1.44 in benefits, representing a 44% return on investment. One of the remaining challenges then becomes attracting talent to the semiconductor industry. This is where connecting these apprenticeship programs with innovative initiatives like the Maricopa Community College Quick Start Program is a fantastic way to tap into a broad and diverse talent pool. This is good for Arizona and our people. I want to end by congratulating NXP for being the first in the state to register a semiconductor apprenticeship program and encouraging other companies to consider joining. Lastly, thank you to all the companies for your investment in Arizona and its people. And with Governor and House leadership, we will keep working together to build a stronger Arizona. It's now my pleasure to introduce Melinda Morrison-Bullock, CEO of First Things First.
Good morning, and thank you. I'd like to thank Governor Hobbs and my state agency partners for highlighting the need for childcare as part of the semiconductor industry in Arizona and our economy. Childcare is an urgent economic priority at every level. It allows parents to go to work, businesses to hire workers, and it's an investment in our kids' futures. The childcare industry holds up every economic sector of our economy. A recent study from the National Chamber of Commerce and the Arizona Chamber found that the Arizona economy loses $1.7 billion annually due to childcare challenges. Employees have to miss work or eventually quit if they can't find affordable and accessible quality childcare. Because this is a vital issue for our state, the Arizona Commerce Authority is conducting a statewide childcare needs study in partnership with DES, First Things First, the childcare community, and the governor's office. The study will include a needs analysis and a 10-year projection of future childcare demand and an action plan to address current and future childcare needs. The study will be useful for our state's efforts to The study will be useful in our state's efforts to help our industry secure CHIPS Act funding, and it can also be useful for other industries in our state. Additionally, First Things First has been pleased to work in partnership with the Arizona Commerce Authority, the Governor's Office, and DES to provide consultation to the semiconductor industry work group, their leaders, and through one-on-one consultations. With all of the national attention that is currently focused on our child care crisis, it's clear this isn't just a family issue. It's everyone's issue. It's an economic imperative that we work together to find long-term solutions. Thank you.
Well, that wraps our speakers. I think we can open it up to questions.
Good
We
morning,
can
Governor.
Go around.
You have a question, Howie?
I have a question. Come on down. As you probably noticed, couldn't help but notice, Republicans announced a plan to raise teacher salary by $4,000 using the money from the trust fund corpus, similar to Prop 123, which I think you actually may have voted for when you were in the legislature. What do you think? Seems like a quote-unquote relatively painless way of doing this without raising taxes.
We certainly are looking at options to extend Prop 123. It's going to be really necessary so our schools don't experience that funding cliff. I have not looked at the details of the Republican proposal, but I think there'll be a lot of lively conversation in this legislative session about what we do with Prop 123 to avoid that funding cliff that we're going to face when it expires.
So what's your plan for raising teacher pay? You know, they trotted out something, I'm waiting.
As I've
We're all
said
waiting.
again and again and again, you'll see our plans closer to when we put out our executive budget in January.
All right.
If you dislike the legislative Republicans Prop 123 plan, are you willing to put your support behind the independent citizen initiative and do something different?
I didn't say I didn't like it. I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it. And again, as with a lot of things, we're looking at all options are on the table.
Are you supportive of, I mean, their broad idea is taking the Prop 123 expansion and putting it towards teacher salaries versus general education funding dollars. Are you on board with that?
Well, I think we're wrapping up the work of our educator retention task force, and teacher pay is a big theme that we're seeing emerge from that. We have to do something about teacher pay, and also the other things that Prop 123 funds are going to need to continue to be funded.
Where does that fund come from if the money starts being diverted to teacher pay?
Again, we are looking at all the options, and you'll see our proposals closer to when we put out our executive budget.
All right, other questions?
The
Brad?
voucher ad hoc study committee ended yesterday after 2 meetings with nothing. Was that your expectation all along?
I can't say I'm surprised.
What would you have liked to see?
Well, during the budget process, we were pushing for more accountability measures, and I think we've seen a lot since the budget was put out that show the continued unsustainability of this program, and we need to do something to rein it in, and I would have liked to see this committee come up with some solid proposals to do that.
Question right here.
Yeah, well, Governor, despite Prop 123 and the 2020, all these efforts, why is it that teachers still continue to struggle to make ends meet? Why is it so low paid?
Because we're not paying them. I mean, it's obviously an issue that's been an ongoing conversation, and we're underfunding. We continue to underfund our public schools.
Okay. What's your response to the kind of self-inflicted budget crisis over the University of Arizona, and are you willing to see, do you want to see the state give them more money in the budget to kind of make up for that shortfall?
I spoke with President Robbins yesterday. I'm concerned about the fact that this sort of just happened, and there hasn't been a lot of oversight. And I think right now the priority is getting to the bottom and finding out what happened and what can be done to make sure that they're on solid fiscal ground.
Should the state give them more money to kind of make up that difference next year, or do they need to kind of fix the mess they made?
I think the latter, yes.
Right here.
Governor, are you aware of reports that a 3-year-old hostage captured by Hamas has ties to Arizona? Have you been made aware of that, and do you know what the connection is?
I have not.
What's your response to the calls for a ceasefire? Do you support that?
Again, Arizona continues to stand with Israel, but who is our ally, and I am supportive of the calls for humanitarian pauses that are happening, and we'll continue to stand with Israel and provide support in any ways that we can.
But not
Are you right there?
ceasefire?
Do you agree there's a worker shortage in how Arizona managed all these infrastructure projects without the workforce to complete them?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Do you agree there's a worker shortage in how Arizona managed all these infrastructure projects without the workforce to complete them?
Absolutely not. We have a strong, highly skilled workforce, and we're doing everything we can to continue to bolster that workforce which is why we have the announcements that we've made today.
On topic, sorry. Can somebody speak to, we talked about like the staffing and DES that will work on these registered apprenticeship programs and the money going towards it, but how many apprentices are we talking about entering into the workforce pipeline here?
So within XP, we're gonna start smaller and do internal and then new employees, and then more as we continue to grow. And obviously, as more companies jump onto the registered apprenticeship program, it should be much more than that. For reference, we have about 250 maintenance technicians here in Chandler, Arizona, and that's gonna be the target for the program.
Question, perhaps for Sandra, but also on the Biden infrastructure law. How much has that contributed? Because we're hearing construction, they can't find workers fast enough, other industries can't find workers fast enough. How much has the infrastructure plan or law contributed to that? And can you speak to the larger issues or larger challenges of actually getting workers, young workers at a high school or college into these jobs?
Yeah, so as the governor mentioned today, this is exactly why we're here. The focus is on talent and workforce and making sure that Arizona has the talent to support not only the industries, but the construction fields in order to support the infrastructure programs. The funding at the federal level has really helped to increase the amount of activity. Workforce is not solely an Arizona issue. It's not solely a national issue. It is a global issue. And we're going through a transition now, and the industries are continuing to evolve. They need trained workers, and so we're working with all of our partners that are currently employed and how we can help increase their skill levels, but also working with the educational institutions. And that is why today we are partnering with Maricopa Community College to ensure that there are opportunities for individuals and students who are not necessarily going for a degree, but are interested in getting some advanced training to work in some of these facilities. We saw a success in the Drive 48 we did for the automotive industry. And we're really looking at that as a key example and best practice for how we're connecting all these workforce accelerators. So this is giving us an opportunity for students at a high school or others who are interested in this industry, who can actually get advanced training through these efforts, these accelerators, and go right into employment with one of these industry leaders.
All right, we have time for like 2 more
Just a
questions.
quick follow-up piece. Speak to Drive 48. How many students did that turn into actual workers?
Absolutely. So the very first year we launched that program, that was a partnership between the ACA, the Maricopa Community, or Central Arizona Community College, and Pima County and Lucid Motors. The very first year, they trained about 2,000 individuals, and all 2,000 of them ended up with employment right after their training.
At Lucid or others?
Mostly at Lucid.
Okay, Howie.
Okay, Governor, on the child care issue, we have a system of subsidized child care based on need. I'm not sure what exactly you think a study is going to show. I mean, are we talking about increasing subsidies, more state dollars going into child care? I mean, what do you know, I mean, you're the big policy maven here, if you will. What do you think this is going to produce?
Well, just like every industry, childcare is facing shortages in workforce. So that's part of what we're trying to address. I don't know, Melinda, do you want to?
Yeah, sure. So there are childcare deserts and gaps all across Arizona, even right here in Maricopa County. And so estimating the need for increased childcare throughout the state, not only to serve the semiconductor industry, but every other industry in Arizona, is vitally important to keep people working and keep families able to go to work.
But in a free market economy, you know, if there's a need and the companies are willing to pay more than the $14.85 an hour, whatever they're paying now, it would seem that problem would resolve itself. Why do we need government interference, if you will?
So the latest rates show that infant care is $20,000 per year. If you have more than one child, you're looking at a $30,000, $35,000 bill every year for childcare. That becomes an economic family issue. Is it make sense for me to go to work or stay home with my kids? We want to encourage as many people who want to be in the workforce to be in the workforce. Increasing child care subsidy is for families making 165% of the federal poverty level or below. First Things First provides scholarships for families making between 165% and 300%. And for reference, that's about $80,000 a year. You cannot afford $20,000 if you're making $80,000 a year. So subsidizing families to get back to work is an important driver of the economy, and also understanding the business model, the broken business model of childcare, and helping to support that industry so that we can support people going back to work and full-time students in programs like the apprenticeship.
So we're talking about First Things First doing the subsidy, or we're talking about the government?
There's
doing the
both,
subsidy?
there's both. There's childcare subsidy.
I understand what exists, but what are you talking about asking the state and asking the government?
We're not asking for anything related to that today, but yes, the state and the federal government investing more in childcare would support a stronger workforce and allow First Things First to serve more families above the government subsidy rate.
All right, one more question. Anybody want it?
I'll take it.
All right.
Governor, I noticed you referred to some of your agency heads here as CEOs. I thought they were executive deputy directors. What